Can I please welcome on stage Director Tarek Albaba, Executive Producer Sean Dash, Executive Producer Omar Altalib, and the participant Dr. Suzanne Barakat. Sorry. Okay.
All right, sure.
Thank you so much, Tarek. I don't have questions. I'll let you guys speak and start the conversation.
Should I open it up?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I have any questions apart from, I was sitting there with these ladies, and the three of us were constantly breaking down. I don't think I'd do justice to this with questions. We can start with the audience.
That was intentional. So, it's pretty heavy stuff, obviously. I feel like I've said enough in the film, so we could just open it up to questions in the audience.
So the question is, have there been any new laws around the issue?
I wish I could bring my friend Manar up here to answer this question, who's in the audience, but the closest we've gotten is the Jabara Hire Act. Nothing specifically around this.
Yes. I'll repeat it so that everyone hears it. The question is, what motivated Tarek to make this film?
So I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, a few hours away. We actually had family that lived in Raleigh. And so when this happened, we were all incredibly concerned and confused. And, we were getting bits and pieces of information. So we were like, wait, Muslim students, okay, we have cousins and relatives there. So we were on text message thread. We were trying to get more information. And, as the news unfolded, I was obviously, drawn to it. I was concerned. And quite frankly, I knew something like this could happen. I grew up in North Carolina. I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. I had been bullied. I had been jumped. I just felt like this was inevitable, unfortunately. And one of my cousins who actually lived in the area, he was texting with Dia the day of the murder. And Dia was trying to get his advice on fundraising for Syrian refugees. And in talking to my cousin Haytham, he was like, hey, man, you work in film, you work on documentaries, and you work in Hollywood. Maybe I could introduce you to the families. I mean, I think we should do whatever we can to kind of amplify their voices. And so to me, I was like being called up for duty. I'm like, shit, okay. Yeah, I mean, it had all the right ingredients for a really compelling film. So as a filmmaker, that immediately I was drawn to the story in that way. But also when I see them in the news, when I see Dr. Abu Salha and Auntie Layla, like I feel like they're family. It's like, oh, that could be my mom, that could be my aunt, Suzanne could be my cousin. We speak the same language, we come from the same region. So I just felt like I can tell their story. I know how they felt. And our approach was, let's investigate their feelings, right? Like, I know how they feel. I know the issues that they're raising, but is there validity to that? And what if that was our approach? And, we wanted to make sure that it was rooted in facts, that it was fair. And it obviously was a human story. And I felt like that's going to resonate with the audience.
Dr. Barakat, if I can ask you a question. There's the Berkeley professor in the film who says that Muslims in America are living in this constant state of PTSD. And, it's one thing to go through trauma like this, to live through it, through the legality of it. And it's another to memorialize it in film. Did you as a family get to process it before the film was made, or I'm just asking of your well-being, because of course, documentary very famously also has the ability to re-traumatize people constantly. So what was your relationship to the filming of this documentary?
I'm struggling just standing here having watched this right now, so talk about re-traumatization. But for 2 months after what happened, it was a nonstop media frenzy. Within that, I mean, no offense to Tarek, even I don't even remember talking to Tarek half of the time. Like, it was just nonstop. I don't know what I said where, and this was both families. And we did it with a very clear intention and a hope that we would make it to a day like today. And that is the triumph of today, of these last 8 years of the work that went into making this. I mean, the trauma that this team was exposed to in making it, it's no small feat. But we did it not knowing what will actually land. And this is a triumph. And the hope and goal is to continue to move hearts, for people to see the truth behind what happened. So we have policies that actually protect our people. And so we can prevent this from happening again. Siri does not understand.
And she's not alone in this. A lot of people here need to understand what's going on. More questions, thoughts?
I'll just say that, and on the documentary side of it, you are constantly knowing that you're about to drag the family members through this again and again. And even after we finished the film, we went to both families and we showed the films again, because we did not want this to be a first-time experience. We wanted them to know, exactly what we had put up here. And it is difficult to drag people. You're almost ashamed of what you're doing to a certain odd extent. But I would say you certainly don't make documentaries for money. There really isn't money in it, but you do make it for love. You love the people, that are on camera. You come to love them, and you love the people behind camera. So that's the impetus.
Thank you. So the question is, why did this specific case stay within the state and not become a federal case?
We touch on it in the film, but it's basically like the way that the laws are currently written. You have to basically come up to the door and say, "Hey, Muslim, I'm going to kill you because you're Muslim," and then you pull the trigger. Well, obviously, real life doesn't happen like that. I mean, sometimes it does, unfortunately. And the other thing is, there's just not real motivation at the state level to prosecute it as a hate crime, because guess what? The guy turned himself in, right? He's going to get 3 consecutive life sentences. Why all the extra paperwork? Why even go to on the, get it prosecuted on the federal level? Well, I mean, as Kendra said, well, it matters. It matters to tell the truth. It matters to tell our society what's happening. And unfortunately, North Carolina didn't even have, a felony hate crime law in place. And so all they had was a misdemeanor. So, therein lies another problem. Some states don't even have felony hate crime. So, our thing is, we want you to understand that hate speech, there are huge ripple effects from it. These 3 individuals, these beautiful children were taken from us, and look at how many people it affected still to this day. I mean, I always tell people, this is not a film we wanted to make. We had to make this film. I'd much rather have them still be here.
If I can add to that, Tarek, learning more about this, basically North Carolina only has hate crimes applying towards misdemeanors, but not felonies. So if you did graffiti, then you can get a hate crime prosecution, but murder would not apply. And just the way that things escalate, that if you can't prosecute on the state level, then it kind of escalates to the federal level. But I did want to introduce a little bit of nuance for, having tried to understand some of this from the activist level, that there is concern about introducing these hate crime laws, because ultimately what they might end up doing is harming communities of color even more. And so there's tremendous nuance in all of this, which adds to all the frustration of the importance of labeling and calling something what it is, but introducing policies that actually protect and prevent this rather than further criminalize communities of color.
Yes. what are going to be the next steps in promoting this film? Where are we going to be able to see it? Are there going to be more documentaries like this for awareness? Because people need to see this.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. If we have to be 100% honest, our industry is kind of in shambles. The market is really tough right now. It's actually amongst all of us filmmakers, we're all pretty bummed out. A lot of us are not getting distribution deals. And there's a number of reasons for that, which I won't get into. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't want this film to just die off. We made it for a wide audience. And we hope there's a buyer out there. Where are you at? HBO, Nat Geo, anybody? So yeah, we're in a tough market, and hopefully we will get it distributed, and hopefully there will be more films that dive into this subject matter.
So, Tarek, not hopefully, like we will figure this out. And to me, when I just standing up here next to Suzanne, it's really emotional because they made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, Leah, Yusuf, Razan, and the families. So the least thing that we could do, in whatever it is that we do, is nothing compared to what they sacrificed. We, all of us in this room, anyone that we talk to, any connection, whether it's a third, fourth, sixth level on LinkedIn or whatever, do whatever you can to get this story out. Tell them about Tarek, give them, his contact information. Let's do this. We have to make this happen. We have to get this story out. That's the least we could do.
Do you guys have an impact campaign planned or maybe it's too early? It's like literally the world premiere. So
yeah,
I'll just let you rest.
We were like limping across the finish line. Like we actually asked for an extension with Doc NYC, truth be told.
Don't
but
say that aloud.
I know. But we were lucky to get a grant from one of our nonprofit partners, Subject Matter, and I think they're going to come up here in a moment, and I think they're going to help us strategize because we need all the help we can get. I mean, we're a really small, scrappy team. We don't have PR. We don't have a fancy agent. So we've just been grassroots. And honestly, it is worth mentioning. We got rejected from every single mainstream documentary grant. We've been rejected from studios. It's a lot of the people in this room who actually like donated and participated and rolled up their sleeves. And it's weird for me to think that this is my film. It belongs to all of you and all the people that were not able to get to be here tonight that have helped us along the way.
Yeah, just round of applause. So I'm new to this whole industry, and Tarek has been my coach, and Sean my teacher. The one thing I'm learning a lot is, award-worthy work like this. Right now, that's not what the studios are necessarily looking for. They're looking for commercial success. They want things that people are not going to necessarily cry in it because they feel a piercing in their heart that this is wrong, this shouldn't happen. They don't want to put that kind of stuff out there because, are people going to actually pay to go see that? Or would they rather laugh? Would they rather, see something that's very shallow? And this can't get more real. This can't get more real. So the people that actually care about changing this country, one of the biggest reasons I got involved is because I care about America. This is my adopted country, took care of me, raised me, right? But the direction that we're headed in is really scary. I don't want my kids to grow up in a hateful America. I don't think any of us want that. And the only way I think to change it is, like Suzanne said, change the hearts of the people. And this is how we do it. This is how we get to people's hearts. And we have to put it out there. Whatever we do, we have to put it out there to change the direction this country is headed in.
We're not ending just yet. Tarek did half my job. I'll finish the second half of it. Could I please invite on stage Colleen Hammond and David Earls, who are the co-executive directors and co-founders of Subject Matter.
Good evening. Our nonprofit subject matter looks to capture audience energy for important, social issues and channel that energy to real world change. We do that three ways. First, we find a compelling social issue documentary, like 36 seconds, and we provide them with an impact grant so that audiences can discover the film and hopefully see the film. Next, we find equally compelling nonprofits that are doing the work to try to resolve the issues that have been raised in the film. And lastly, we come before audiences like you in the hopes that you will join us in taking action.
So we're here tonight to invite you to join us in creating a positive community action in response to this powerful film. Subject Matter is awarded a $20,000 grant to the film so it can reach more audiences. And a $15,000 grant to a nonprofit called Our Three Winners. It was founded by the families of the victims, and they work to raise awareness about implicit biases to help eliminate hate. And we hope you'll all join us tonight in donating by following any of the prompts on the screen. And for each person who makes a contribution of any amount tonight, Subject Matter will give an additional $200 donation. So your support really means a lot. You're able to leave a message of support if you'd like us to communicate that to the filmmakers. And we're so grateful you're here tonight, and have a nice evening.
Thank you so much. Do you want to have the last word?
Thank you so much for coming out. Again, we wouldn't be here without you, literally. And, I think Omar kind of hinted at it, but I will put a finer point. We are seeing an alarming rise in hate crimes, anti-Palestinian rhetoric, anti-Muslim rhetoric, anti-Jewish rhetoric, and it's not okay. I mean, I'm Palestinian myself, and I could barely talk about the facts on the ground without being attacked, and it's not right. So we need to be there for one another. We need to understand what's going on, and we need to eliminate the hate if we actually want to get to the bottom of the issues. So ceasefire now, absolutely. I will not shy about that. If you are not down to end the bloodshed, you are standing in our way. Absolutely. It's the least we could do.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you
a great
guys.
rest of your evening. And don't let go of this rage. Use it, take it to the polls, take it to your neighbors, and just put it into action. Have a good night.
Thank you.